Hey guys.
Hey there, welcome to Wardick Wells and the Exumas and this big blow that we're having. Boy, we're gonna be here for what, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, at least. We need to sit it out until the gusts of 30 to 35 start to slow down a little bit. Tonight's gonna be the worst of it, and then tomorrow it should start to dissipate. It's okay, we're in a very protected cove, and that's the best part about it, and it is absolutely stunning here.
And you know what the other good part about it is?
What?
We've got time to work on videos.
Yes, we do, and even though we're down to one laptop, first world problems, we're going to see if we can get through this. This video that we're gonna talk about today is gonna be really unique. It's our continued journey through the Long Island Sound, but we're going to focus on 3 unique islands in 3 different states. And 2 of these islands we had never heard of before we started cruising.
Yeah, and just for disclosure's sake, we blew through some of these places because we wanted to allow enough time to see people that we had already pre-scheduled. We wanted to make sure that we saved plenty of time for the crowning jewels, which we'll talk about in the next video. And we also had to get all the way back down to Deltaville to haul out and get some work done so we could come back down to the Bahamas, which is where we're at right now. So we didn't give some of these places a great chance, we're going to admit that, and but we did some research to fill in with the details that we found out from actually being there.
So we're going to use our rating system that we started in our last video for this video, and
Our
we're going
scorecard.
our report card.
Our report card, we're from the teaching profession. I mean, it's just a natural, right?
We're going to look at Thimble Islands in Connecticut, Block Island, which is Rhode Island, and then Cuttyhunk, which is Massachusetts. So we're going to look at those 3, and we're going to rate them according to cruiser friendliness, things to do, hang time, and then an overall rating for you.
And ask yourself right now, have you heard of these 3 islands? I'd heard of Block Island, but never the Thimble Islands and Cuttyhunk, because they're super small. Block's pretty small, but its proximity to a bunch of different places makes it probably more popular. Had you ever even heard of Thimble or Cuttyhunk?
I had not heard of Thimble Islands, and I had not heard of the Elizabeth Islands, which is where Cuttyhunk is, but I had been to Block Island before when I lived in New York. So.
And here's the good thing, you're gonna learn about these places. They're definitely worth going to for different lengths of time, and we will reveal that. But this is all about going new places and learning new things.
And we're so thankful, as always, for our subscribers and our patrons. First of all, a huge thank you to our patrons for your generosity and your encouragement, but also thank you to our subscribers and viewers for watching our channel. We really appreciate it, and we continue to ask you to like our videos, share them, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It really helps us out. So let's get this one going so we can finish it.
Let's do it.
We're gonna start with the Thimble Islands in Connecticut, and a bunch of people told us about the Thimbles. They said these are islands not to be missed. You need to go for a day or 2 to see them. So we did make a point to get over there. We went over from Port Jefferson.
Some people said they reminded them of Sweden and some of the islands in Sweden.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that appealed to me, so we took the chance, and we're glad we did.
We only spent 1 night there. We came over and we spent the afternoon just cruising around on our dinghy, checking it out. But if we had to do it over again and had a little bit more time, we would have spent 2 nights there.
Okay, you've seen the movie American Vacation with Chevy Chase, and he takes the whole family out to the Grand Canyon, puts his arm around his wife and goes, oh, okay, and they hop back in the car. Well, this wasn't that short, but it was close, and I think that it deserved more, and we'll talk about that later.
Sure. For cruiser friendliness, we rated this a 6 out of 10, and a lot of that is just based on research. We actually didn't go to the town dock, which has a 4-hour maximum. We didn't see the yacht club. We didn't take advantage of any marine services. We didn't need to provision, which in this case is a cab ride away from the dinghy dock, so it's not in walking distance. What we did experience though was a little bit of trepidation coming into Granite Islands and the continual warning that if you do not carefully plot your course and watch where you're going to destroy your keel, because keels don't do
this
well
is
at
like
granite.
cruising up in Maine. It was the first time that we had come to a place where there wasn't mainly sand, where we could run aground if we had to, and there were no consequences. So
the other hazard that we had to really be careful about, which we were warned, was underwater cables and seabed pipelines, which they make it very clear if you drop anchor on one and damage it, it is your financial responsibility to fix it.
And that's not going to be a small bill either.
No. So we anchored in the exact same spot that our friends on Envias, thank you Stefan and Dorothy for those coordinates, where they anchored, and then we just hoped for the best, and it was okay. We had good holding, and we didn't tear up a cable. They're called the Thimble Islands because many years ago, the islands were completely covered with thimbleberries, and thimbleberries resemble blackberries, or red, I think they're called red blackberries. Red raspberries, blackberries, they're called black raspberries.
Hey, no matter what they're called, I'm gonna eat them because I like those things.
Well, the thimbleberries apparently are a little bit more sour and bigger, but they are no longer found on the islands, but that's why they're called the Thimbleberry Islands. In terms of things to do, we rated it a 5 out of 10. And the reason is it's really fascinating to take your dinghy around all of the rock islands. We really enjoyed that. There is an outer island that has a wildlife refuge on it. There are some restaurants, though some of them are not close, but other than that, it's really just a place to relax.
Yeah, and truthfully, we didn't want to find anything that would keep us there for another night because we didn't have another night.
So our overall rating was a 6 out of 10. We highly recommend that you put this on your list if you're in the Long Island Sound, because we just think it's super unique and cute and worth a visit.
It's like glass. This is beautiful. Very dewy. Let's see the top of our boat is completely covered in dew. Birds everywhere, so peaceful. We're gonna try and take off. It's about 6:30.
Exciting times, caught a fish already. We think it's gonna be a throwback because it looks a little bit small, but who knows? Oh, pretty. What is it?
A tuna.
No way.
Yeah.
Another fish coming in. So we caught a mackerel a little while ago, and now we have caught another mackerel, but he's a tiny one, so we're gonna throw him back. Captain Brown with fish number 3 of the day. Let's go ahead and move on to Block Island. It was the perfect stopping point between Montauk and Newport because it's about halfway.
It's in the middle of going everywhere. Well, it's like a hub, really.
And if you can tuck in there, it's great protection. And if you can find a place to anchor.
Man, it's popular. And it's a big anchorage, but I'm telling you, it's packed with boats, charter boats, local boats. They've got moorings and marinas and everything, but we managed to carve out a little real estate for ourselves.
We did.
And I think the key is getting there during the week. You wait until the weekends and forget about it. This place is gonna be all carved up and full.
The place where everyone anchors or grabs a mooring ball is called the Great Salt Pond, and there really isn't a lot of space for anchoring. There's anchoring on the outside of the salt pond, but then you deal with some sand, but the conditions may not be great holding. There's an area that has rock bottom, which obviously has terrible holding. So trying to find a place to drop anchor is a bit of a challenge. But Block Island has a great, really strong cruiser community. It has incredible facilities, a dinghy dock, a grocery store. It has a marina, and all of the facilities that you really need as a cruiser.
And one thing it has too, it has protection. And it has protection in an area out in the middle of the Sound, closer to the Atlantic open ocean, where things can get a little dicey. So that's another reason to go there. I think it was pretty blustery, kind of like it is here today.
Yeah. So because of all of those things they offer to cruisers, we gave this a 9 out of 10. For things to do in Block Island, we also rated it a 9 out of 10. There is so much to do there.
Well, we biked. These things were indispensable for exploring the island. We went on back dirt roads. We went to beaches. We went to lighthouses. We did a circle around the entire island.
There's actually a published map that gives you stopping points. It was fantastic and easily done in a day. We stopped at the animal farm where they have unbelievable exotic animals, from llamas to kangaroos. There were just really interesting animals at the animal farm. We loved it. And just a lot of historic buildings. The Inn is one of the historic hotels on the island with a beautiful view over the sound, and that has wonderful flower gardens as well. We were able to see those.
What I loved about it is once you get away from the main town, it gets very rural, and it kind of reminds me of what we're going to experience in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, especially Nantucket being a one city town. It did not disappoint. You could just get out there and explore. There aren't a lot of cars. The roads are really good. They're great hills, so you get a lot of exercise.
They're used to having bikes on the island, so the drivers were really slow and very careful, which was great.
Yeah, it has a good bike culture.
I think two of our favorite sites were the lighthouses. We went to the Southeast Lighthouse and then the North Lighthouse, and they're just beautiful historic buildings. And the Southeast Lighthouse actually was going to fall off the Mohegan Cliffs into the sea at one point, and they ended up moving it back in the 90s. They raised enough money to pick up that lighthouse. That lighthouse is a big lighthouse.
Sure.
It's not just the lighthouse, it's the building as well. They actually picked it up and moved it back off the bluffs a couple hundred feet, I think. And so that lighthouse was preserved.
Just think how important those lighthouses were back before radar. You definitely don't want to run into Block Island.
So we did not get to stay very long in Block Island, which again, we were on a schedule.
2 nights?
I think we were there 2 nights. We could have stayed probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, Block Island's a place that's got some hang time, and you could definitely stay there for quite a while. We didn't because we're in a hurry, but we should have, but we couldn't.
So there
we
you
shouldn't.
go. So we still rated hang time as a 9 out of 10, and we suggest building in 4 or 5 days to be able to stay there.
Absolutely.
Let's move on now to our 3-island, 3-state review, our report card.
Obscure islands.
Yeah, very obscure, other than Block.
Which makes it so interesting. My gosh, this is just,
We learned a lot.
We did.
So we're moving to the Elizabeth Islands, which I'd never heard of, off the coast of Massachusetts, and the island of Cuttyhunk.
Yep.
Well, we thought we'd be out of here a little bit earlier, but the raw water that's coming into the engine is coming in a little bit more slowly than normal, so we wanted to give that a good check. The telltales look good, and so now we're gonna try and pick up the anchor. There is a twist in the anchor chain because we did a couple of 360s, so we're not sure how that's gonna work. The bridle came off on its own, which is really good. Means the chain must have sorted itself out last night. We're good to go.
Beautiful day.
Oh, can't complain, can you?
No.
We were recommended to go to Cuttyhunk by Brown's friend Jim, who lives in Newport. Recommended that we stop there on our way to Martha's Vineyard, and it really was the perfect place to stop, similar to coming from Montauk to Newport.
And I mean, it's in the neighborhood, right? I think the Elizabethan Islands, a lot of them are owned by the Forbes family.
It's privately owned under a trust.
Cuttyhunk has this private aura about it, but it's open to the public.
In terms of cruiser friendliness, it doesn't have a lot to offer. It's a really small island, and I think it only has 10 year-round residents on the island.
I think maybe 25 houses.
Yeah,
It's a
maybe.
small quantity.
In terms of cruiser friendliness, it didn't offer a lot, but one thing it did offer was great holding outside in the harbor. The bottom was great, and so we were able to stay there in a protected area. They do have a marina, they do have moorings. They don't offer marine facilities, really. There's a self-serve pump out, which is good. Fuel is iffy. You need to call ahead if you want diesel or gasoline. But the harbor master could not have been a nicer person, and we enjoyed interacting with the cruisers.
You know, one thing they have that's really unique is the nudist beach. You remember that?
A nudist beach that doesn't have a beach, on a pond.
And I think they
floaties.
have like one restaurant. It's a pizza place.
Yeah, Sopranos pizza. Remember
Yeah.
how the Sopranos sitting out, the figurines
Yeah.
sitting outside?
It's just really cute, and maybe we could have stayed there an extra night. The weather was kind of rough and stuff. And we had places to go and people to see, so we had to leave after one night.
So for cruiser friendliness, we gave it a 6 out of 10. For things to do, we gave it a 4 out of 10. We did cycle the island. It was about 5 miles of roads, very little acreage and roads to ride on. I think one of the most unique places was Lookout Hill, which housed the bunker that the soldiers used back in World War II to spot submarines coming in through the waterway. It's a 360-degree view at the top of the mountain. So now it has incredible views. It has a viewing platform for anyone to go up and visit. That was really unique.
And maybe I'm being a little judgmental, but I'm saying you kind of have to be an introvert to live there and have a lot of books to read. Because, yeah, there's not a lot to do, but if you're into reading books and leading a chill lifestyle, Cuttyhunk's the place for you, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. For things to do, we rated it a 4 out of 10. For hang time, we suggest one night there. 3 out of 10 for hang time rating, and you can move on, and overall a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, this is one place we spent one night there, and we're glad it was only one night. So we moved on.
We hope that you enjoyed this review of these 3 islands, and thank you so much. If you've gotten this far, you are a true star, and we want to say thank you to you. Thanks so much for watching.
We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.